Welcome back, everyone, to the Problematic Podcast. I am your friendly, yet frustrated, but blessed neighborhood podcaster, Rita, with my friendliest, favoriteest, famousest host, famousest. Yes, you are the most famousest person I know. Not famous, famousest person I know.
Oh, goodness.
Whitney, and we just happen to be matching today. I don't know how that happened, but
yes, the greens came out.
So, green's my favorite color.
It's one of mine.
Is it really? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I love an emerald green, but I'll take
Me
any
too.
shade. See,
that's it. It's emerald green, sapphire blue, and amethyst purple. Those three together.
Come on, gemstones. I see you. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see, you get me. You understand me. I appreciate that because I'm like a emerald and garnet person. So yeah, I
love a garnet.
I like to pair like my greens with either gold or silver because they go really well together.
Make it pop.
Yeah, it's nice to be understood.
I'm here with you.
I told a kid one time, see, this is why you don't
talk to children.
Yeah. This was years ago, by the way. I was doing a mentoring program at a church. And I told a kid my favorite color was green, and she went ill.
Oh,
who likes green? That she said it's an old people color.
How is green? It's a color.
I was like 24 at the time.
I'm so confused.
Fucking kids, man.
Y'all are making up stuff now. Y'all just making up stuff.
Y'all just say anything.
Y'all just say anything.
Good times, good times. So, yes. Before I get into music, I would like to complain a little bit.
Who did it?
Linvilla Apple Orchard did it.
We just came back from there.
Good for you. I'm glad you guys went. I'm glad you guys made it because we had a Linvilla. My wife and I had a Linvilla apple picking date. We go every year since we started dating. We go to Linvilla. We pick some apples. We get pumpkins. Little pumpkins. We bring them back. Pumpkins. We paint them as a family in a theme. The first year's theme, I think, was emojis. I think we freestyled the first year. Cute. The second year's painting theme was emojis. Then we did a Ninja Turtle theme. This year
so cute.
This year's going to be a Marvel pumpkin theme. So we're all going to paint like a Marvel hero.
I love it.
How's it ever? So we had tickets last week. And we were on a bit of a time crunch, but we were like, oh, we'll do our apple picking. We'll get our pumpkins. We'll get our cider, our apple donuts. We'll come home. Linvilla is always a good time. They have hay rides filled with lots of kids. There's a petting zoo. The children love it, but so do the adults. I always say bitches love apple picking. If you're thinking of a good fall date for your girl, take her apple picking. She's going to love that shit. She'll put on flannel and riding boots. And
she'll want you to take her picture as she's climbing the ladder.
Yeah, bitches love that kind of stuff.
We love it as bitches.
As bitches. As bitches myself.
We love that stuff.
Love that stuff. So we had tickets and we got there a little late last week and we were on a time crunch. So it was so crowded that we opted to not go in because you had to park miles from Linvilla to even get in for our ticket time. And we made the mistake of getting our tickets for Saturday. So we got our way out there. We regrouped, said we'll have lunch today. We'll go to Linvilla next week. I bought the tickets right there. Why did my wife come to me this morning and say, they're out of apples over at Linvilla?
Yeah, they're out of apples.
Because I don't know who put y'all on the date. Families I get.
You did.
You know?
You did. You told them.
How the fuck are y'all out of apples at the apple orchard? Because
niggas picked them. They
raggedy people taking 2 or 3 girls every other week. I know it was y'all. You and your 9 families. You got to take these kids, and these kids, and these kids. People got multiple families.
It was a lot of kids when we went, and we went on a Thursday.
We couldn't find a place to park on a Saturday, and the crazy thing is, we were late because of the traffic, and we realized about a half an hour in that we started hitting traffic about 5 miles out for Linvilla.
Everybody was going to Linvilla.
I could not. So yeah,
and you went on a hot weekend too.
I did. Oh my God, my wife was so mad. She had been checking the weather all week. She
Oh,
was like, I don't want to go picking apples in 70-degree weather.
that's
This is
fair.
not. So our
That's
first,
fair.
our first like official, like this is a date.
Mm-hmm.
I'ma kiss you at the end of this.
Oh,
Was
I
supposed
love
to be
love.
like a nice fall date, but it turned out to be like an 80-degree day. And yeah, so
You
like
know, the climate crisis is just wrecking relationships out
I
here.
I planned a beautiful picnic and we
Oh,
ended up being hot. So then we were like, let's go to a restaurant. Then we ended up at a bookstore, which is where we had our first kiss. It all worked out. Thank you,
oh my gosh,
climate
that's so
change.
romantic.
I thought it like it worked. At first I was like, damn, this really fucks up what I had planned here.
Oh
But
no,
it all worked out,
I love it.
thankfully. But my wife is big on fall dates and
Mm-hmm.
the fact that it was going to be in the 70s. So she was cool with canceling last week and re-getting the tickets. But
Mm-hmm.
now
Ain't no
y'all have
apples.
literally taken y'all
Cleaned them
children,
out.
your girlfriends,
Mm-hmm.
your baby moms,
Mm-hmm.
and
All of them.
your the category, the miscellaneous category.
Miscellaneous category for dating.
Yes, there's a that is the thing. That should be the episode title.
That should be the episode title because I have questions. I know I've been off the market for like a while, but
A long while.
yeah, it's been like
Yeah, but y'all
over a
don't actually
decade.
do like real dates and dating and relationships anymore. We should probably talk about that today. But I
We
had to
probably
gripe
should. No,
because
that's a good gripe.
you raggedy so and
Wait,
so's
can I
picked
show you
all the
what we got?
apples. Yes, you
So
absolutely
we
can.
went to Lynn
You got a
Villa.
Linvilla bag. I'm so jealous right now.
Look, so we were walking by all the gourds,
Oh
and look, does
no.
this not look like an
Oh
octopus?
my God.
I'm gonna
I'm look
paint it
that is
like an
beautiful.
octopus.
I have a fear, irrational fear of octopi, like
Oh,
your
I'm
sister
sorry. I'll
has
put
a.
that away. I'm
No, it's
sorry.
fine. That's fine. That's fine. It's the actual octopi. I don't trust
Oh
them.
no, they're not from here.
Yeah, they're not from here, and they have
Mm-mm.
higher intelligence than they lead on, and
Mm-mm.
like
And
your
there's no
sister's irrational fear of owls or dislike of owls. Who don't like owls? They're
penguins too.
penguin. Who don't like owls and penguins?
Lita,
That is
hi, Kalita. We love
disturbing.
you.
We love you. We
We
love
need to
you.
bring
I
her on the show. She's
We do.
hilarious.
I am a huge fan of your sister, but yeah, that I started looking at her
Penguins.
differently when she said she
Mhm.
don't fuck with penguins. She was like, I do
Yeah,
not fuck with
penguins.
a penguin, and I was like,
Meanwhile,
girl, what?
let me find an owl somewhere. Like my grandmother used to actually collect owls. I wonder, no, I don't
Mm-hmm.
have anything close, but like I'm looking at some of her after she passed. I took a few of her owls. Um, but yeah, we went on Thursday. And it was so funny that you said there were no more apples because, like, in the playground, there was
Mm-hmm.
a literal tree that had like 10 apples. We looked up, I was like worried that they were going to fall on us,
Oh,
but the tree is really high.
mm-hmm.
So it was all the fall fields. It was chilly out. The sun had just started to set. The super moon
Oh,
decided to make
which
an appearance.
was beautiful,
Oh my God.
beautiful.
I took pictures. I was
I
like,
almost crashed my car when I saw it. I said, "Oh my God."
don't die.
I I
Trying to see the
wish I would.
moon.
I almost ran into the back of a car because I was looking. I had just happened to look up. I knew it was
Hmm.
happening, but I kind of forgot. And I was coming home from the market, and I was like, "Oh my God, look at
Hmm.
that!"
Let me tell you how witchy your friend is. So literally this morning I get up and I was like, there's like this viral thing going around about people who stop and stare at the moon. They're like, yeah, you are a witch in a past life.
Me, it's
And they show
me.
like body marks and stuff like that. And I was like, oh no, I have the I
Oh
have
wait,
the
I got one
marks.
of those.
I
I
got
have one of
it.
those. Can you see it? Oh my God, we have a weird mark on the
We
same
were the
finger.
we were the witches.
What happened? We were the witches.
We were the
We
witches.
are
Wait,
coven. This is our
we're
coven
coming. That's what
color. We just
we're
went off
forest
the
witches.
rails.
We're
We are
forest
forest
witches.
witches.
Yes, with
What
our
are the
greed.
odds?
That's so
That's
wild.
I found my first coven sister,
Look at
guys.
us.
That's
And
so
like,
exciting.
let me make you laugh. Right now on my stove, there is a pot of simmering bones because I'm making bone broth.
Yeah, you're a
Yes.
witch.
I was
Yeah,
with the moon out. I was like,
I
oh,
love that.
plants
This
all up and through my house. Like,
this is the
my husband's gonna walk
energy.
through here with like holy oil in a second. I'm
Yeah,
like, I
that's
promise you, I
okay.
still love
You
Jesus.
need balance. You need a
I
little
promise you,
balance.
I love Jesus. I
Yeah,
promise you.
I
I get a little witchy around this time of year.
you didn't put it in yourself. It's on you. It's well in
Apparently,
you, not on you. That is so weird. Now I gotta
I
go
have
check
two of
people's.
them.
So let's be to let the viewers or listeners know. So apparently, so we can describe this so you know what the hell we're
Yes.
talking about.
Yes. Sorry, we freaked
On
out.
my right middle finger on the side, I have a mysterious.
It just popped up.
Mole. It's
Mm-hmm.
random. My brother had it. My father also has it.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird. It's how I think so. Sidebar, I'm gonna get back, but
We'll get back, y'all.
people talk about paternity tests. I feel like God has created a way for everybody to know
Yes.
whose child is who. Because
Yes.
me and my mom have a mole on the same place on our stomach,
Really?
and then me, my dad, and my brother all have this like weird finger thing going on. But
Really? That's
yeah, but me
interesting.
and Whitney have the same witch mark on our
Yeah, we do.
hand.
Yeah, I have mine on my wedding finger, actually,
That
which
is
is also very interesting. And then I have one on my middle finger on my right hand. Yeah.
If you look at your hands and your fingers and you notice a really weird mold, you are a part of our coven.
You're
Please
part of the
call
coven.
in so that we can get you a
Get your green.
sweatshirt, a mug, and a badge and a membership card.
Yes.
Wow, us discovering that right now while
That was
recording
funny.
is fucking hilarious. Oh my
During the
God, I
super
got one on
moon.
my index finger too.
Do you
What is
really?
happening?
It's like a
Wait,
gang
can you?
sign, which you
It
just
is
did.
a gang sign.
What
What
is
is
happening?
happening? Okay, this is weird. All right, sorry guys. Thank you for
That's so funny.
working through this with me.
Oh God, that's so funny.
Um, yeah, I have lost my thought.
Oh yeah, so yeah, we went to Lynn Villa, and this is gonna be really mushy. I'm sorry. I know
Oh
I'm the hallmark.
God.
I'm the hallmark of the problematic podcast. But Earl and I, as we were getting ready to leave, realized that like our first date after we got married was at Lynn
Oh.
Villa. And I was like, if the dates are even close, I'm going to cry. So I looked at the picture that we took with Ems in the same gazebo, because you know they had
Mm-hmm.
that gazebo. And then I looked at the date of the picture that we took. They're 4 days off. So I was like,
That is beautiful.
I
Oh,
know. And he looked at me. He was like, "So I guess this is our thing. Like every year we'll just come
you
here
have
around this
to.
time." And I'm
You have
like,
to. It's required until you're like 100.
"I know. Listen." So they have to like wheel me out. Hmm.
Yes. Your grandkids will do it for you, I believe
Oh,
it.
I'd love that. I'd love that.
Oh,
Keep
how
that
cute.
happening, guys.
I'm glad that y'all got to pick some apples. So
And
I
it was
guess
chilly. We had the fall feels.
the
I'm sorry, friend.
blessings. It's
We
okay.
got to go during the week.
I, I I know now. We'll go during the
Hmm.
week.
Hmm.
I'm off one weekday a week,
Hmm.
and we'll buy our tickets earlier in the season, and I guess
Hmm.
we'll do it that way because I feel like Linvilla has always been popular for Philadelphia
Yes.
and its surrounding areas, but I
Yes.
think just the weather being what it is and people having nicer weekends and just more
Hmm.
opportunities to get out.
Which is good.
Which is great. I think it's beautiful.
Hmm.
I've seen all my friends and their kids and their godchildren going out to Lynn
Hmm.
Villa. I'm just sad that we didn't get to pick our apples and have like our
I'm
little
sorry.
breakfast apple strudels and cooked apple. My wife likes to cook, season and cook apples, which is she's such an old woman.
I love it.
It,
Is she
it
part of the
I
coven too?
she denies it, but little does she know she married into it. So this is what it is. Oh, also sidebar. Speaking of covens, before
Uh-oh.
we get into the show and actual music and things that we wrote down
Sorry,
in these
y'all. This
notes,
is the show. They,
my
they they tune in to listen to us every week. This is the show.
my wife asked me. We were talking about what is that show? American Horror Story Coven. And my wife turns to me and she goes, "What was the name of the Coven movie in the 90s?" And I said, "Hocus Pocus?" And she was like, "No, girl, not that one." I was like,
Practical
"Oh,
magic?
no." She was referring to The Craft. But then she
Oh,
clowned me for saying
wait.
Hocus Pocus. She was
That's a
like, "The
coven movie.
Sanders." That's what I said. She
They're
was like, "The
sisters.
Sanderson sisters were not a coven." I was like, "It's two or more witches. It's three or more witches, and just because they're sisters does not mean they're not a coven." She was like, "They're not a coven
They're a
because they're
coven.
sisters, and they just
No,
happen to live."
they're
We went
definitely
back
a
and
coven.
I thank you, friend, because she
Like
was.
that's
That's what a coven is.
that's what a coven is.
Three or more witches doing witchy stuff together.
Doing witchy stuff together.
Yeah, then she was like, "You know what? I don't want to talk to you anymore." And then
Oh
like she
no.
turned over and stopped talking to
Literally just
me.
stop speaking to
She
you.
was
All
like,
right.
"I'm done with your foolishness." But yeah, I think the
Okay.
Sanderson sisters are a coven.
Holy, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
100% a coven.
that's my thing. But
But not,
they
you would consider the Sanderson sisters not a coven, but the craft, them
the
girls
crap.
playing
Yeah,
around in somebody's bedroom.
thank you,
I'm
thank
sorry.
you. I
I'm sorry. The Sanderson
just
sisters have what, centuries,
centuries, centuries.
centuries, and
That's
a big
all.
book.
That's all I'm saying.
Hmm.
That's all. But Whitney,
Yes.
what have you been listening to, friend?
So Samara Joy put
Oh,
out,
yes.
I don't have her new one, but it
Hmm.
looks beautiful. Her album from last year that we got when we went to her Christmas show, that has just been playing in the house. And it's this woman, she could sing the ABCs, and I honestly would just listen
And
to
with
it.
that voice,
Oh my
I would be
gosh.
captivated.
Do you see me? Like we would be slow dancing in the living room to ABCs or Twinkle Twinkle. Most romantic rendition of Twinkle Twinkle you will ever hear is by Samara Joy. But yes, it's been Samara Joy heavy. How about you?
So, I took a page out of the kids' book and I have been listening to this Rod Wave individual. And I thought he was a rapper. So, and I was like, okay, I gotta listen to Rod Wave.
You
I gotta
listening
keep
to
up.
children's music?
Yes, but this song 25 is actually really, really good. So he's like a very melodic, sing-songy rapper.
Ah,
But 25 is just basically him looking over, I guess, the last 4 years of his life since he kind of came into fame and stardom as a rapper and just being really introspective. But when the song first came on, I was like, this is a Billie Eilish song. It's not a Billie Eilish song, but it kind of plays minus
it feels like Billie
the
Eilish.
yeah, it feels like Billie Eilish. If Billie Eilish was singing this
She's
hook,
yeah,
she could do it.
she could do it.
But I
Mhm.
do like the song, and it just reminds me that not everything that's new is bad. So
That's
if
fair.
you're my age and you don't like listening to new hip hop, I would strongly encourage y'all to listen to Rod Wave 25. Your kids already know about it. But it actually is a really nice melodic. It's not like cuss you out, talk about
I
bitches,
can't.
rob nigga. It's not drill music at
I
all.
can't
It's melodic rap meets pop to me. It's
love it.
pretty good. So yeah,
Here for
that's what
that.
I've been listening to. I was like, oh, look at me liking kids music.
I
Proud
know.
of
You
me.
just out here being young, youthful.
I'm still listening to Glorilla because she just
What's wrong
makes
with her?
nothing. She just makes me dance. I love
I
her.
like her. Yeah.
I am a fan. She's a girl's
Listen.
girl, and I'm a
Yeah.
fan.
She's very much you know what? This new crop of well, Megan's not that new, but this new crop of rappers, I love that they're just girls.
Hmm.
Like they are just centering in on like let's have fun,
Right.
let's be sexy together. Excuse me. And let's just enjoy our time together. Like you fine, I'm fine, let's be fine friends together.
And we find friends together.
Yeah,
Six bad
absolutely.
bitches in a suburban, popping
Hello,
out with bust
having a
downs.
great time.
Love it. I I love that for the girls. I feel like the
Yes.
girls who are outside now are just having the best time. Don't get me
Mm.
wrong, in my 20s, my friend posted a picture of one of our birthdays a few days ago, and we just happened to be at the club during like two prison release parties. Now I know that
Wait,
sounds like a
what?
hot ghetto mess. Hear me out.
Wait, wait.
Hear me out.
Two
Follow me
prison
here.
release
Two
parties?
prison release parties were going on at the same time. I think the
What?
club was called Aura. So we're there celebrating a friend's birthday, having a great time. And then the prison parties, they're like announcing on, the DJ is like, such and such is out of jail. Welcome home, my nigga, blah, 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 blah. And now you're thinking Rita and her friends would never be associated with this. But
I did not think that.
we had a little section and we were having a good time. We were listening to music. And then here's when I had a newfound appreciation for prison release parties. Whitney,
Hmm?
both sections from the prison release party started throwing money. And because
Oh,
their sections were like elevated and right behind ours, guess where all the money was falling?
on y'all?
On us. It was fantastic. It was great. I've never seen so much money thrown outside of a strip club in all my life. I left that day with like an extra $200. And
I
that's
mean,
not a lot of money, but it's more
it is
money
a
than
lot of money. That's
listen, in
groceries.
my 20s, that was 3
That's a
weeks of
lot of money.
groceries.
Okay.
Couldn't believe
Um,
it. I didn't know they threw money at prison
we
release
believe
parties.
we believe in cooperative economics. Okay. We do. We I want to encourage cooperative economics.
My friend shared that picture. It was like, do y'all remember this night? And I was like, how could I forget? I left the club richer than I came in. And then like our
Listen,
drinks ended up being it was a great time. Let me tell you something. If
had a
you're ever at a
blast.
place where there's a prison release party, don't judge so harshly. Because
I just would,
Raheem and Tawfiq really made the night
you
special.
know what? God bless them both. I
I
hope that they're
hope that
both doing well.
I hope that they're home and
Mm-hmm.
thriving and caring for
Mm-hmm.
their children. It was a fantastic night. fantastic night. Prison
I'm here
release
for it.
parties.
Hmm.
Again, got distracted, but we get into
We're
some
having a
news.
blast. What are you talking about?
We're all over the place
We're
today, and I love it.
This is exactly who we are. You need
This
to own
is
this. This
yes,
is who we are.
this is so true. I hope they. This is why you guys listen because we
Every
have
week,
every week.
every week.
I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't mention the passing of Liam Payne. Okay, so let me
So
start.
sad.
It is sad. I don't know. When young people pass away in
Hmm.
general, it's like disturbing and it kind of makes you think about yourself. And it's like, this young man was 31, I'm
Hmm.
37. To know that, like, I'm existing on this planet where I am outliving young people,
People.
um, is kind of, I don't know, it kind of gives you pause for a second because it's like, oh no, somebody passed away. And then they say their age and it's like, shit, 31. But also keeping in mind, like I have a younger sister who's 24. I have some friends who have kids and they're like late teens, early 20s, and just realizing how big One Direction was
Massive.
for that that group, the younger millennials and the older Gen Zs, and just seeing on the internet like their outpouring of love and devastation, and like just trying to put myself in the mental space of like, I know how big NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys were to me, and
Yeah.
if
Could you
one of them,
imagine?
I know, no, and I was saying that to myself last night, like you see these kids making all of these sad posts, and there are adults like, guys, get over it. Like, this is what happens with boy bands. And I'm like, don't,
Death?
death, death.
Okay.
Like,
Can I vent?
please.
I was going to save this for the problematic part, but thank you for bringing this up. Love to Liam's family, all who actually knew him, and all who appreciated his music. All right, now that's aside. What the hell is wrong with y'all?
What is wrong with y'all?
Some of y'all possess the amount of humanity that we can find in a stone, in a rock. Some of y'all have absolutely just lost your humanity. There was an interview, I believe it was a young man. Oh, I sound like an elder. A young man named Dro. He came
Mm.
with T.I.
Yes, Young Dro. Big
Was this?
fan.
See, I'm a child. I mean, I'm
It's
an
fine.
elder. I am a grown. I'm like,
That man's
oh,
first album and those collaborations with T.I. Oh,
yeah,
you had to be there. It was a time. It was when I
yeah,
was outside. Yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah.
please
We
continue.
good and inside now, child.
Good and inside.
Good um and apparently Dro was mic'd up. T.I. was mic'd up. But whoever this little fucking friend that they brought, who was sitting on
Hmm.
the couch, who was
Yes.
laughing at this
Laugh.
man talking about overcoming addiction, talking about like how his daughter is addicted.
Celebrating his sobriety and talking about his challenges with addiction. And his friend was caught
Friend,
on a
quotation
mic
marks,
laughing at him.
laughing.
It makes me wonder sometimes, like, what what's the catalyst of us becoming so heartless? And I think social media is the best and worst thing that has happened to us in the last
Mm-hmm.
20 years because
Mm-hmm.
it does numb us. And I notice it happening to me. So I'm not like throwing stones, but it does numb us to a lot of things because we are constantly being inundated with, you know, great things, positive things, wonderful things, but also very negative things over and
Mm-hmm.
over and over again. And
Over and over and
hearing
over.
about Liam Payne, and it's been released now that he clearly was in some sort of unhealthy episode before his
Jesus.
passing. Um he was at a hotel in Argentina, and there was a recording of the hotel staff calling the police and saying, he's either under the influence of alcohol or drugs, he's acting erratic, we haven't been able to access the room, he's breaking
Jesus.
things within the room. And then they showed a few photos from the room, and there was like a broken TV and what
Can
looked to
y'all
be drug paraphernalia. And it's like, when you share those things, there's a segment of the population that doesn't feel any sort of sympathy, but
right.
they start to suggest that he somehow got what he deserved.
Oh,
And that is so frustrating to me
oh.
because any one of us can be one death, one bad day,
Yeah.
one bad decision away from a mental
Yeah.
break.
Yeah.
And you don't know what that young man was going through. And he may have been under the influence of drugs and alcohol, but then you have to ask yourself what got him there, because he did
Hello.
express in a prior interview that, because they were so young when they became international celebrities,
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
the people who were around them were mature enough to try and keep them away from things. And the way he
Mm-hmm.
started drinking was they wouldn't let them go out and party. They would keep them in their hotel rooms, and their hotel rooms had mini bars.
Oh
And he
yeah.
started to self sedate with alcohol, and it
Mm-hmm.
became like a long running thing for him. Again, this happened to him as a teenager when he didn't have the mental acuity or the wherewithal or just the maturity to make better decisions. And to see some of the remarks, most of the outpouring again has been incredibly sorrowful, and people just celebrating his career and his music. But for those who are a little older, and I hate to say it's mostly people my age, dismissing this as like another child star with problems.
That's
Do you hear yourselves?
they don't they don't hear themselves. It's easy. It's easy when we get into these conversations where folks will start to they're trying to figure out why things happen so they can say that they're better than these things
It
happening to them.
that it's that. It's that.
And it's really frustrating to watch because this is not a time to pump your chest and say, I'm a better human than XYZ.
Right.
Because, in my particular faith practice, we have a saying, this is therefore by the grace of God go I. Like
Mm-hmm.
for anything, for anything. And that's just a reminder that we're not put here to judge or condemn. And especially like, y'all, do you understand what let's just zoom out a little bit. 2020 wrecked a lot of people. A lot of people watched a lot of death.
A
And it
lot.
was like from someone being murdered by having someone's knee put on them to someone being murdered because I'm not murdered, but dying because of an illness, an airborne
Mm-hmm.
illness. And people like to assign, like, they like to assign, what's the word I'm looking for? Responsibility in people's deaths. Because what they're actually trying to say is this will never happen to me because I'm better because I live this way. This is not the
Exactly.
time for that.
No.
There's never a time for that. Like there was all this judgment about people who were getting COVID back in 2020. Like, oh, what did you do to get it? Never mind
Mm-hmm.
the fact that it's an airborne virus.
Right.
Breathe. That's
Breathe.
all they did was
Breathing.
breathe. Yeah.
Breathing.
They went outside to get the mail. They went outside to take a walk because they needed it because they were so tired of watching these damn reruns on Netflix. Tired of baking bread. Y'all
I
remember y'all asses were baking bread in
I
2020?
watched everything that was on Netflix. There was
We
not
broke
a
Netflix.
stone unturned on
Nothing.
Netflix.
That's how the Tiger King took off
That
because we
listen,
were
I was
so
just about to
bored.
say that when I found myself watching Tiger King, I said, "This is the bottom.
This is the
This is
bottom.
rock
We're
bottom for me."
scraping the bottom of Netflix. But I say all of that to say we need to do like a 2020 like
We do a recap.
yeah, we got to go back because like we were doing some foolishness. But I say all that to say this. The lack of humanity that so many people have is one of the things that makes social media such a toxic space. Somebody died. Somebody died. You don't have to like them to have a little bit of respect, a little bit of humility. And y'all just be putting anything out into the universe and not expecting that stuff to boomerang. I
And
would
that
be cautious, especially this particular year with what Catherine Williams said. That's not that man's name. Well, what Cat said, his name is
I'm
not Catherine.
so
I'm
tired of this.
joking. Catherine Joanne Williams with his amazing silk press, beautiful silk press, the most luxurious silk press you'll ever see outside of Kamala Harris. Okay.
Oh,
Just
I'm sick of you.
luxurious. No,
Beautiful.
seriously. You have to add you got to sprinkle in the humor. You got to laugh. But
Oh
seriously,
God.
like, we as humans need to do better. And when you see that nonsense, the best thing you could do is either ignore it or call it for what it is. Ask people to check their humanity because right now it's on life support.
Yeah, it's it. I mean,
Ugh,
yeah, ugh is right.
ugh.
Who else should we be yelling at this week?
Um, this is going to be a very niche topic because you don't spend your time on the internet, and I
It's
love
fine.
that for you. I
It's
love that
fine.
for you.
I try my best.
Over on the tickety top, there was a little white leftist named Madeline Pendleton.
Oh Lord.
She's got, I think, over 1 million followers over on
Oh,
TikTok. Yeah.
okay.
And she also has baby bangs. So if you hear me say little bangs, look, if you see a picture of her, you will understand the bangs are small. Like the haircut is the short bangs. And like, oh, I'm so revolutionary. Look at my short hair in the front. Okay, girl. All right.
Oh,
Anyway,
Whitney.
so she hops on the internet and makes a video saying, the Democrats are paying influencers to make content that's friendly for them. Look, they were offered me like $15,000 to make them a video. And so one of my mutuals, Elizabeth Houston, shout out to Liz.
Hey,
Um,
Liz.
Liz is brilliant. She's a lawyer. She's brilliant. She's a comedian. She's awesome. She's just an awesome human being. She's really, really funny. She talks really fast, and I love that. She makes a lot of sense when she talks really fast. Um, so she said, "Hey, the brief that you got, that's not the Democratic Party. Like that's a media company that had
Mhm.
specific talking points, and the talking points were debunking Project 2025." So it's just like, how did we get from the Democratic Party sent me money to try to do this? Anyway, so rather
Ciao.
than just taking that on the chin and saying, you know what, I was wrong, I read this brief wrong, or
God
whatever.
forbid.
God forbid. Oh, humility is in such
Short
oh
supply.
such short supply, but that audacity is in abundance. It's 2 for 5.
2 5.
2 for 5 at this point because this lady made video after video after video after video calling out Elizabeth's name in particular and directing a lot of harm to Elizabeth and to Black women in general. And it got so bad, I don't even know how we got here
I
because I'm
say that
still
a
trying to
lot.
figure this out. And I don't feel like doing all this digging. Angela Davis got brought into the
What
conversation,
the fuck?
and Madeline's white ass, little bangs, thin lipped, frail looking like she needs a sandwich ass had the audacity to say, well,
Uh-uh.
she wasn't a real Black Panther. I
You mu- Oh, we got to get rid of her. How do we get her canceled?
when I
How
tell you I
do
was ready to
we
fight,
sh- I don't
I was ready to fight.
understand.
I was ready to fight. I was ready to fight. I was like, this is the problem with you white leftists specifically.
Leave Aunt Angie out of your
This is the problem.
lily thin-lipped mouth.
This is the problem. Y'all have all this theory, which
Oh
where did you get
God.
it from? Where'd you get that theory from?
Oh.
Oh, Black people like Angela Davis? How dare you? Angela Davis literally said we need to vote for Harris because she's our best shot at like still being able to help people. And y'all were like, no, bad nigger. Like you don't
With
agree.
the
You
hard
don't agree.
ER.
Angela
Oh.
Davis, who has literally been fighting for Palestine for like 60 plus years.
Literally.
Are you
Literally. Like that's like
are you okay?
trailblazer when there was no trail and no
Hello?
fire.
Hello? Hello? And so Madeline is having some difficult times on the internet because first
I
of all,
bet. Good for
the
her.
black community, there's something to be said about black community because we be communing, okay?
We do.
We didn't even need a meeting. We just rose up. And
Because
I
if
know
I
some
got
people
to sit my Pepsi down and address this bullshit, I'm
yeah.
addressing it.
Oh, and it has been addressed. And she's crashing out, as the youth say. But okay, I want to
Ah,
show you a picture of what she looked like. Look, these are the bangs. Remember I said they were little?
I've never
You
seen
thought
a
I was
worse
joking?
haircut. What the fuck is
Do you
that?
see what I'm just
What is that?
I don't know. She does something with fashion, but she's a
No, she
bigot and a
doesn't.
racist. Yeah, she
She
like
might
has
do
a fashion
something to
company.
fashion, but she don't do nothing with it.
You're hilarious. So to Madeline, who has said they have all the pronouns. All right.
Okay.
If your theory, the theories of the things that you know, still as a person operating in a white body, has you intentionally directing harm to an entirely marginalized community, you are just simply holding hands with the far right. Your far leftism has completed the circle,
Mm-hmm.
and now you have joined hands with the far right, who you have admitted you are using your video to
Mm-hmm.
directly attack Black women creators, but you won't take any accountability for it. You're like, yeah, I see it happening, but it's not my fault. Yes, yes, it is. And you can't even think past those little bangs on your head because the information can't get in because the theory would have said, oh no, people who I fundamentally disagree with are directing harm to a whole community. Let me take my content down. Let me correct this. Let me fix this. No, you double down, triple down, quadruple down. So now that you're holding hands with the far right, all you are is the far right who wants respect for their pronouns. How does that feel?
Oh boy, that
And that's all I
was
got.
oh child. That's disappointing. But I'll say this before we head into our break. If you ever think about saying anything about negative about the Angela Davis,
Bernice King,
just take your
Coretta
words,
Scott.
write them down on a piece of paper, take that piece of paper and eat it. Just eat it. Just eat the words. Just write them down on the piece of paper, dip it in your favorite dipping sauce, and keep that shit to yourself.
There's so many good dipping sauces.
There
Oh,
are.
wait. After the
Oh,
break, I have somebody else too.
all
But go ahead.
right.
I'm sorry.
We'll
Continue.
we'll be back in just a minute, guys. Hey guys, we love to hear from you over at the Problematic Podcast. So if you've got a problematic story or a question you'd like to ask us, you can now text it to 609-316-6152. Again, the number is 609-316-6152. Standard messaging rates apply, and we love to hear from you. Now let's get back to the show. And welcome back, everyone, to the Problematic Podcast. Whitney,
Yes.
what you got for us?
All right. So this again is going to be super niche for people who spend way too much time on the internet. Um, so there was this controversy of it's a Canadian show. It's sort of like Shark Tank, where
Okay.
like folks like invest money in your business idea. It was two Canadians and they were making their own boba drink, boba tea, right? Spelled,
Okay.
boba. It's the
Yes, I
drink with the
love
tapioca
boba.
pearls.
Delicious. My wife hates it, but
Mm.
that's so sad.
Everybody doesn't like what they
Honeydew
like.
boba. If y'all have not had honeydew boba, just do yourselves a
Oh my
favor.
gosh. I've never even heard of it.
I'm gonna take you to get some. Don't
I
worry.
want
I
some.
got it. Don't worry. I'll take you to
Yay,
get some.
boba. Yay,
Yeah.
boba. Um, so these two white people stood up there looking at a bunch of Asian folks. It was like Simu. He's an actor. He was in what's the one with the rings? The 10 rings.
Oh, Sang-Chi. I know
Yeah,
what
I
you're
just
talking
watched
about.
that. I just
It's
watched that.
pretty good. Better
It was
than I
really good.
expected.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't like Aquafina because, the anti-blackness.
Yeah.
I'm still looking at you funny. How you made a whole career of being a literal minstrel, but then you were like, "Oh, I don't want to make a minstrel character of my culture, but you'll do mine,
But you'll do mine.
girl."
Amazing.
Anyway, so Simu was in there, and these folks were like, "Yeah, with boba, you don't know what's in it, and you can never tell, and it might be unhealthy. So we took a boba, and our boba is boba that you can actually drink." And I'm like,
Oh, no, that's no, 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 no,
white
no, no,
people,
no.
white people, y'all keep doing this. It's like when that girl made the nightcap, and it was nothing more than a satin bonnet.
Yep,
Literally a satin bonnet. That's
that's
it.
it.
That's it. It's like when y'all try to make boxer braids or mini buns or whatever, like when y'all said collards are the new kale,
Unhand my culture.
just stop it. So Simu calls him out. He's like, what was wrong with the original boba? Oh, well,
Mm,
it's so mysterious. You don't know what's in it. Have you ever been to a boba shop? You have a paragraph that tells you everything that's in it. Water, tea, tapioca pearls.
hmm
What are we
What are we actually
what are we
saying here,
talking
guys?
about? What are we talking about? And so this has ignited a large conversation that is happening over on the tickety talk, and it's been very interesting. I'm gonna keep calling it that. It's been very interesting to see who understands cultural appropriation when it doesn't have anything to do with Black people,
Ooh, wee.
because y'all humanize y'all's what do they call it? It's a terrible term. Um, but basically how Asians, the model minority myth,
Mm-hmm.
that Asian people are the model minority and Black people need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps because look at what Asians did. We lynched them too. We treated them poorly too. And look at them.
Like
They're trying to be just like us. Now, how
saying it
dare
out
you
loud.
Blacks? that's what the, that's what the model minority myth is.
Yep.
That's why too many of those folks believe that model minority. Um, participated in the end of affirmative action on universities. And guess what? Those same people are now in a massive lawsuit against like Yale. I can't remember the
Harvard.
other. Yeah, it's like a few of
Mm-hmm.
those other schools, but it's the same group of people. It's like, oh, so the niggas weren't the problem. Like
No.
we said, it was the
Racism.
legacies. Yeah,
Racism has been the
which
problem,
is
guys.
which is what we said, which is what we told you. Now you're sitting up here looking silly, looking goofy. Anyway, so folks, sorry, the lip pop it had to happen. So it's just been really interesting to watch this conversation sort of devolve because everyone is just, well, the majority of people who are engaging in a video that I posted where I said, "Oh, so y'all understand the boba
Mm-hmm.
appropriation, but y'all don't understand why, braids and twists and locks and AAVE and rap music. You don't understand why, you can't just put on the aesthetics of Blackness for funsies.
Mm-mm.
Y'all
I
don't,
don't get it.
y'all don't get that. And people thought that was an attack on Asian people. And I'm like, you're dumb. You're dumb. And I can't say this online because I'll lose my account, but this is the problematic podcast. So I can say it. You're stupid. You're either stupid or you're trying to create a conversation that's not really happening. I'm talking to white people who are making videos after videos after videos about, oh, the boba controversy, and this is why it is a controversy. Asian people made this, and I'm like, absolutely, let's have this conversation. Let's protect Asian culture and heritage. While we're doing that,
Since we over here anyway.
since we're over here anyway, buy them all. We might as well go in and shop.
By the
I'm just saying,
mall.
since we're over here. So someone came into
Oh
my
boy.
comment
Oh
section
God. Not
and
again.
said, while we were talking about heritage and culture, well, you should stop drinking Coca-Cola because that's a white invention.
What? My nigga, what?
White people,
Y'all
white
are
people.
unhinged.
Some of
Some
y'all
of
need to gather
y'all,
y'all cousins, gather them up because I don't believe that all of you think like
it's
this.
not all of you. It's a very small but very loud
Vocal, very
segment.
loud. Get your cousins, turn off their
Please.
Wi-Fi, take their phones from them because we're talking about elements of culture and heritage. And the best thing that you could pull out of that as white Americans was Coca-Cola, a drink that if you put it on a penny, it'll erode it completely. I mean, if you want to use that as an example,
That's not the best example, but
it's kind of anyway,
okay.
it's
Sure,
kind of what
guys.
happens when white supremacy comes into,
Oh,
if that's what you want to use, and it formerly had actual cocaine in it, that ruined a lot of people's lives. If that's what if that's the heritage you want to hang your hat on,
by all means,
by all means,
go for it.
because
Fuck it. Knock yourself out.
they think and then like part of the conversation has been, well, don't use an iPhone, don't speak English. First of all, English was beat into my ancestors. We didn't want to speak English.
Literally beat.
Do you not
I didn't
was
ask for this.
history child left behind? Because I don't understand why y'all
All of
don't know
them,
that.
a large swath of them, a gaggle of them were left behind.
I promise you that white supremacy and privilege is really based on just the ability to be mediocre and dumb about things. Like, what is the point? What is the point? Meanwhile, we're taught that we have to work twice as hard to earn half as much. And we're going to these rooms and fighting to be in these rooms. And we get to these rooms and we run into y'all who
It's
think
a
that
bunch of
heritage,
stupid motherfuckers in the room.
we find out that your heritage, the things that you claim are heritages. heritages are Coca-Cola and an iPhone and a bastardized version of another colonizer's language that you forced onto us.
Well, see, that's what
Heritage?
happens when you find yourself on a land where everybody is an immigrant and everybody
Well,
came from somewhere else, but you're
well,
claiming it as your own.
almost everybody
You are not indigenous to this land. That's
ain't
why your heritage is fucking soda. That's
ain't
why your language, the language you speak is English. It's not native to this rock that y'all came and put your
ain't
fucking flags on
ain't
and been telling
and your
people to get
germs
off of
on.
it
Yeah,
for centuries as if
yeah,
it's yours.
yeah.
None of us, and when I
Mm-mm.
say us, I'm talking about the African Americans, the
Yeah,
Italian Americans, the Polish Americans.
yeah.
This rock is not indigenous to us. Now, you know who it is
No.
indigenous to? You know who this continent does belong to?
Yeah.
The Mexicans that y'all have been harassing and haranguing and literally attacking for decades and just ramping it up over
Hmm.
and over again. But Mexico has been a part of this continent since this continent was a continent. But
Natives are
these
just
are the
looking
people
at
you
you.
want to send back to where they came from?
Yeah, native. Someone actually tweeted that as a native, they get a lot of like people telling them that they should go back to where they came from. I'm like, they're native. You're
Here,
not.
here, I'm from
You're not
here.
here.
Y'all are literally attacking Mexicans in Texas when their ancestors have lived on that parcel of land for a
Thousands,
millennia.
thousands of them years,
Do
thousands
you
of
know
them.
how stupid you sound telling somebody standing in somebody's house and telling them to go back to their house?
You look crazy.
Moronic.
Y'all are not okay. And I
But I
need y'all to
digress.
just get a grip and read some actual history, not the stuff that just makes you feel cozy and comfy. No, we're not having story time. This is like real life. Y'all are out here embarrassing yourselves and really
Ridiculous.
proving that all of that privilege, all of that colonization, all of that death and destruction, and now the climate change, because I'm blaming that on you too. All of this was for y'all to be mediocre.
And have very little culture of your own.
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. That's your
Mm,
heritage. Okay. You've been
shameful.
here for 400 fucking years, and that's the best you could come up with.
Coca-Cola.
Wow.
I'd be,
Wow.
listen,
Y'all did your thing with apple pie. I will give you
I
that.
will give you
Y'all
okay.
put your fucking
Apple
unwashed
pie.
legs
Oh, wait. Bleh.
in the apple
I
pie.
just bought one from Newland Villa. Don't do that. My
I'm
tummy
so
hurts.
I'm so sorry. But yeah, I'll give y'all apple pie. And baseball. Y'all did them.
Baseball.
Y'all did them. The way better than Coca-Cola. Claim
Yeah.
them
Why
things.
don't y'all claim baseball?
That
Apple
is
pie.
organically y'all's.
But listen, I would stood up and
That
like shouted. I'm like, okay,
that
you know what?
is
I apologize. You're right. Apple pie.
American A fucking F.
Right. But
But
Coca-Cola
yeah, come on,
that
guys.
rots your brain as it rots your organs is what they're called. Organs as
That's
it
what we
rots your
call them.
teeth. Like Coca-Cola. Right. Okay. Anyway,
Ooh-wee.
I'm done.
All right. We got a problematic letter.
Oh, Jesus.
I need a name for a mother of a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old. This is a friend of the show, by the way.
Oh, hey, friend. Eunice.
I had a great aunt named Eunice. My grandfather's old. Never mind.
Wait.
Okay. My grandfather's older sister, which means she would have been like 106. Like, but we're moving on.
Shout out to Eunice.
Eunice said, I have a daughter that is 7 and a son who is 5. My mom plays favorites when it comes to my 2 kids.
Oh,
She's nice
no.
to both of them, and I know they're safe when they're at her house or in her care, but my son is more active than my daughter, and I can tell that she has less patience with my son. I never say boys will be boys. I have to say he's my busier child. She recently told me he's overwhelming, and quotes, he's overwhelming and quote, too much when she takes them out. I need my mom's help and care services from time to time, but I don't want him being screamed at all the time. I'm not sure what to
Mm.
do.
First of all, I'm sorry that you were put in that position.
Yeah, that's right.
Um, the son is the younger one.
The son is the younger one. He's the 5-year-old.
5-year-olds in general are just busy, but 5-year-old boys,
Whew,
yeah,
baby.
yeah. Well, okay, so here's the thing. This is where we get to be creative. First of all, before I get there, playing favorites is never okay with children. It's never okay, period, but it's especially not okay with children. Because they see that and they internalize that, and then they'll feel that, oh, mama, grandmama don't love me like my sister,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll internalize that. Um, so that's one thing that you has to be addressed. Like you need, as their mother, you have to protect them. And sometimes that means protecting them from people that you love and respect as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a respectful way of doing so. It's bringing up things when their heart is ready to have this conversation. Um, Another thing I would recommend is find stuff for him to do. Like whenever we send Emmy to, an aunt's house, um, we always pack a bag of stuff for her to do. Now, she is an elder, so she will sit down and do a puzzle. I'm not saying that your 5-year-old needs to have puzzles if that's not something he has to do, but have activities for him to do. Make sure you're talking to him and say, hey, make sure you have your listening ears on for grandma,
Mm-hmm.
so because, make sure that that's like part of the conversation, like get him involved in this in a fun and like kid appropriate way. Make sure you're listening to grandma. Make sure, hey, why don't you help grandma? Here's some things that you can do, like little kids love to sweep for whatever reason.
They
Like, look,
do.
they
What
love
is
to wash
that
dishes,
about?
like, and they're too short to maneuver the broom,
But
right?
they try.
Love it. I don't know why that is. Find stuff for them to do, because I know with a lot of like elders, they want the kids to sit down and watch television
They
or like,
expect a certain level of obedience, and
yes,
that, today's generation of parents don't put that unrealistic or very difficult expectation
no,
on their children.
no. So find stuff for him to do. If it was nicer weather out and grandma had like a enclosed backyard, I would say like, bring over like a ball for him to bounce, bring over some stuff for him to play with. Have create a plan of action and then involve everybody. Okay, you're going over grandma's. It's gonna get really nice around like noon, like right before lunch, like I'll bring over your bike, or we'll figure out some things. I know it feels like a lot more work on your end. And,
Mm-hmm.
moms, shout out to moms, because child all we do is work. Like I have a mountain of laundry that's looking at me in the face right now to
Oh,
fold. And I'm
oh
like, at least
wow.
it's clean. It's clean. It's clean. I just got to fold it.
Step in the right direction.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shout out to the husband who washed it.
Yay.
Yeah, teamwork. But that's the thing. Like we have to partner in this. But I think the first step is to bring your mother on board and
Mm-hmm.
let her see from your perspective what it looks like, because she might not see that. She might just see, that she's tired after the baby comes over with the big sister. And the big sister, she's a big sister, so she's going to be more mature. She's going to sit down. She's going to, and this is stereotypical, but like I'm just riffing, but she's going to do different things than her brother,
Mm-hmm.
and the favoritism is not
Right.
okay.
Right. Yeah. So I think, you know, people get very, very sensitive when it comes to their kids, and I think they absolutely should.
Absolutely.
But, also, like Whitney said, just understanding that your mother comes from a different era of parenting, where
Mm-hmm.
even in schools, in society, at home, in church, we expected kids to be able to sit still
Mm-hmm.
for 8 consecutive hours without all the busyness, without all the noise, and it was so beaten into us that
Right.
we people our age have learned to do that. So it's I'm sure it's very, very jarring and very, very different for your mother to be like, wow, I tell one to sit down and she's sitting down, and I tell the
Mm-hmm.
other to sit down and he way the fuck over there.
I
She might
mean,
not have the skill set
mm,
inherently to deal with that because she's never had to deal with that. It can be frustrating to her. So I'm hesitant to call it playing favorites. It could
mm-hmm.
be, she prefers to work within what she's been comfortable working in for as long as she's been a parent.
Right.
But you pointed out that you feel like she's safe, that your kids are safe in her care.
Yeah.
You just don't want your kid to be punished and yelled at and I get those things. Have that conversation with your
Yeah,
mom, like,
please.
hey, I am concerned about having to undo some of the things that you're doing to my child when he gets home. His mood is melancholy. He's not feeling himself. He feels like a bad child. So maybe, you know, add a little bit of more, add a bit more love and tenderness into your correction because he's internalizing it this way when in reality you think you tell a kid to sit down and be quiet. That is the norm for 90s children. That is not the norm for the iPad generation. So having that conversation with your mother because she probably doesn't even realize that she's doing it because I know, like, even in my own household, like, being a bonus mom and my wife has really leaned into a level of gentle parenting that I never witnessed as a kid. So I look and
Mm-hmm.
I go, okay, we're doing it this way because
Mm-hmm.
we not chopping people in the throat. Oh,
Mm-mm.
we don't do that here. Got
No.
it. And then,
Mm-mm.
kind of having to adjust. Your mother has not been put in a situation where she's had to adjust, and now she does. And I think that your mother loves your kids. That's why she likes to spend time around them. So just having that conversation, and also, like Whitney said, giving your son some things to do, and also being like, Grandma's a little older than me, so like loud sounds and fast movements may be a little challenging for her. Consider that when you're at grandma's, make it both ways. Make it a challenge for your son to, like engage with his grandmother differently. Try cooking, like you said, bring a bike
Yeah.
over.
Right.
Make time for him to get his busyness out, throw a dance party or have him put on a performance and play an instrument. There are
Mm-hmm.
ways around this, but yeah, hopefully that helps and get you where you need to be over the hump and that things work out well for you guys. Cause yeah, please update us. Kids are different. I was the busy
They
kid.
are.
My brother was the one who sat still and was like quieter. So it's definitely not about a gender thing. You're never gonna
It's
get
not.
identical kids. It's
And
you
you
can
don't
have
want that.
and you don't. You can have twins and they'll be completely different people.
Tia
So
Tamara.
yeah.
Sorry.
We should talk about
Sorry.
them next week.
Next week.
Um but yeah, leave with love, and I'm sure your mother will be like, I thought gentle parenting was a scam until I had to do it. I'm like, this ain't so bad. If only
Mm-hmm.
I had had a little bit of this, it would have been great. So yeah, that's all I got.
That's it.
I hope that everybody out here has a fantastic week. Y'all won't have any apples to pick because it ain't no more,
Oh,
but
I'm
I hope that
sorry, y'all.
everybody still gets their fall dates in. I hope y'all have
Please.
picked y'all costumes and y'all Halloween things. I can't wait to show y'all mine. I'm so
I'm so
excited.
excited.
But everybody have a great week and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.